This vehicle actually received a colored paint protection film, full vehicle protection package with a color change package. So obviously we're gonna be extending out the edges and making sure that we're mindful of tucking in all of the film so it's not showing the original color. You guys can also see that it is a white Cayenne GTS Coupe. And let me show you the reason why this car is back and the reason why you guys can see all these panels are already removed. You guys can see that pretty much the entire vehicle is all removed of the old film except for this section, which is the rear quarter panel. It actually runs all the way along the pillars right there, guys, and ends right down here. You guys could also see a couple of the flares are also done because we also redid it using that because a couple of little issues popped up. Now, this is where the problem arises, guys. The customer obviously paid a lot of money for a colored paint protection film job. A colored paint protection film job for a car of this size is between $8,500 and $9,500. So it is not a cheap wrap that you're putting on like a typical $3,000 vinyl wrap that's going to deteriorate in a couple years. This thing lasts over 10 years. It has a 10-year warranty that comes along with it. And in no way is this STEK's fault. However, we had an issue where the colors did not match from lot to lot. I would understand if this was an issue from one year to another year of being in production. However, this was not the case. This was actually just a different lot number. However, they just couldn't replicate the lot number and that color code that was on the film. So, unfortunately, now we're gonna have to be redoing this entire vehicle. So we will be removing the sections that are obviously just a different color, and we're gonna be matching it up with a new film that was actually matched up by STEK over in Korea and then shipped over here overnight, actually, guys, so we can take care of this customer. So one thing that we didn't get to do last time was show you guys how we install colored paint protection film on a car like this. So yeah, this will be a good way for us to kind of redo that because we were so busy at the time we weren't able to do it. And now we get to share it along with for you guys because of this issue. And when you guys are working on cars with lithium ion batteries or any batteries for that matter, and you have door handles off like we do right now, make sure you guys have it on a tender like we do. A cheap little Noco battery tender is like what, 60 bucks on Amazon, but it'll save you guys a lot of headache, especially for you wrap guys that are trying to DIY your vehicles. Now, this vehicle has a lithium ion battery, and I believe it's about $1,000 at the dealership to replace, or maybe more. However, that's not the only problem. They're gonna have to recode the car to get rid of all the check engine lights and reflash it essentially, and only the dealership can do that. So when they charge you on top of that, it's like another $800. So you guys are looking at close to $2,000 if you guys mess up this battery. So let's go ahead and get started, guys, and take you guys along for the ride. It's a lot of work to do, but we'll be doing it over the next couple of days. And we wanted to share this with you guys. And I really, really appreciate you guys all for checking in on this channel, liking, hitting the subscribe button so we can keep sharing these videos with you guys. All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. So we have the pieces pretty much all plotted out, but as you guys can see, Sienna is working on the quarter panel right now. This entire kit requires a lot of modification, guys. It requires you to extend out a lot of edges and be mindful of areas where you don't want cutouts, like for example, sensors and things like that. Just make sure all of that is prepped before we plot out this kit, because this saves a significant amount of time. So while they're gonna go ahead and get this all set up, guys, we're gonna go ahead and show you guys the plotting of this quarter panel, just to show you guys how we do things over here at Wrap Stars. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and get started on installing it on the vehicle, guys. All right, guys, so we are kind of in a little process of this, but like I mentioned, this kind of requires about 58 feet to do it properly. So we are on to the last 10 feet section for the quarter panel. This is exactly how this problem started in the first place, guys. So this is kind of stressful when you're dealing with color PPF. You just want to make sure the color is matching from lot to lot when you guys are dealing with it, so you guys don't run across this issue and having to redo a car completely. All right, and welcome back to the channel, guys. So you guys can see that Sienna has finished up kind of one side of the vehicle with this new lot number for the STEK DYNOgray, and it's actually matching pretty well now, so we're pretty happy We're trying to get this car all done and delivered back to the customer by tomorrow. So yeah, working around the clock to get that things done. You guys could see that Sienna is working with this film on this hood, and I just did want to share a message with you guys. Depending on what type of colored paint protection film you guys are using, whether that be STEK, UltraFit, NanoLink, there's also STEK Dynamic PPF, Pure PPF, and a couple of other brands, you always want to be mindful of your slip solution ratio, because Sienna had time and time again had to constantly be adjusting her slip solution ratio. Whether you're using UltraFit and STEK, they're actually very, very different on how they react. I believe Sienna said the STEK is not really pressure sensitive like how the UltraFit acts. So when you actually have solution under there and you have a very low slip solution ratio, it actually made it extremely tacky, so she had to adjust that on the fly. So as you guys know, when you guys are doing hoods, most of the time we're always preferring to do, whether it's gloss film or colored PPF, we're always preferring to do a bulk installation. And that's just because wrestling with a plotted out pattern is always a big hassle, to be honest, and it actually takes longer for us to do that. So you can see that Sienna has stretched out this hood and tacked it to the areas that she needs, and she's actually going out. Actually, Porsche hoods are fairly, I would say, on the easier side compared to the new trucks that are out. They have valleys and peaks and all kinds of things on there that make it a lot more difficult. And welcome back. Just like that with movie magic, we are on to the next day. Sienna got quite a bit of this vehicle done yesterday, so we just wanted to share what she's done. But you can see that she's kind of working on the lower parts of these doors and trying to finish this vehicle out, because we have another vehicle coming in right now, a 2024 Volkswagen Golf R. You can see that Sienna went ahead and finished out the hood. The emblem is back on. We just have this front bumper and those lower parts of the doors left. The same also applies for the side of the vehicle. On the passenger side, the fenders, the flares, the passenger side door. That's the reason why we don't have the GTS decals on right now, because it was actually removed. And you can see all the way to the back of the vehicle, onto the rear of the vehicle. So you guys can see that it's all pretty much wrapped up. The entire car was redone again because we had that color issue for the STEK DYNOgray. So we're not gonna bore you guys with the details. We will probably cover on installing the front bumper and kind of some of the tricks that we use for colored PPF and that Sienna uses, because you guys can see that she has some masking tape. There is a little bit of inlay work to do with vinyl that is probably necessary to have a very, very good, clean looking job. All right, and welcome back, guys. You guys can see that Sienna pretty much wrapped up most of the vehicle. I did want to say one thing that Sienna really struggled with on this front bumper, and it was actually doing inlays, and I'll kind of show you guys exactly what I mean up close. All right, and when you're doing front bumpers like this with colored PPF, this is exactly what we mean. You are usually gonna be running into issues of getting full coverage around this area right here, guys. And the reason why is because, first of all, this is a white vehicle, and the gap between this piece, the vent piece, and this is very, very tight. So unless you are completely disassembling the vehicle, which this customer actually requested not to do, it's a lot of work to get that in place. So what we did was we used vinyl at first to do a inlay right here along and close to the body line here. However, we were running into issues where Sienna had the vinyl coming off during installation of the PPF when we're spraying slip solution. So maybe we have to wait a lot longer and just properly post heat it a little bit longer for it to work. However, it was just not doing it for us. So for us, we actually decided to use a strip of PPF in that same size and use that to get coverage that we needed. And the one other area for the Cayennes that we've noticed that you also needed that
that kind of inlay is actually around the center grille as well, because the same thing, this piano black grille is very tight against the bumper. So unless you guys are doing a full disassembly, and this disassembly on this bumper takes quite a while, so you guys don't want to be left doing that if it's highly unnecessary. And also, you also want to be prepared to do this if your customer requests specifically not to take that bumper off. All right, guys, so we have this vehicle to finish up. We have the lower door section and the rocker panel on the passenger side, and then we are all wrapped up. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and finish up, and then we'll show you guys the final results. All right, folks, and when you guys are doing color paint protection film, doing the edges and corners sometimes, it requires a lot of heat to get it down. And sometimes the film, depending on the manufacturer, requires more than you guys think. So it's always nice. You guys can see that Sienna's putting on a ghost glove. So you guys can see this is meant to kind of help you guys get protected from the heat and also feel when you guys are doing corners and things like that. The other thing you guys might want to invest is a torch lighter like this. You guys can get this at any little smoke shop, and this is gonna let you guys get direct heat on those corners and help you guys get a clean install for colored paint protection film. So we're gonna show you guys exactly how to do that with a Sienna here. And that's it, guys. You guys can see that Sienna did that really, really quickly. It's just very short bursts of a pretty much a cigar lighter. So, you know, you can find that at any smoke shop near you guys. All it requires is a couple little short bursts and a wrap glove to really get that edge looking like paint. All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. And we are all wrapped up with this Cayenne GTS Coupe. It was doing the STEK DYNOgray paint protection film. It's a colored paint protection film, and we redid the entire vehicle because we had an issue with the lot numbers not matching with the color. You can see that there was quite a bit of work for us to do. We went literally for the entire vehicle, so everything had to come back off, and that is why we are missing the GTS decals right now. And as we discussed, guys, we were having issues with the vinyl, basically post-heating the vinyl enough to where it's gonna be staying. And anytime there was a little bit of an issue, it actually lifted the whole vinyl because the PPF glue is very, very strong. All right, guys, we are all wrapped up with this customer's vehicle. We have a full shop. So right after this, we have this BMW X4N for full front paint protection film and a couple of other goodies, as well as this F-150 Lightning that is in for the light bar. We actually have to do a couple of touch-ups from before, so we just wanted to finish this up as well. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. This was Eddie with Wrap Stars, and Sienna did another colored PPF project on another vehicle.